Relationships cannot be transactional, they have to be mutual, and by giving without expecting as a brand, you really build long-lasting relationships. So meaning communicating on eye level, opening yourself up to your brand proposition, being authentic, showcasing yourself as a brand is important because that's ultimately how you build the relationship with the consumer. And it doesn't stop after the sale, it should continue. So I think there's huge potential for brands, e-commerce brands, to learn from the customer experience, quite openly asking for feedback, ideas. Maybe you even need to create a product that you didn't know they wanted. So it's a great new era of interactive commerce, I would say.
A relationship there's so much into a relationship. I wouldn't separate a brand relationship from a personal relationship at all. So I think try to make sense for someone. Don't just push whatever is important for you to a customer. Like, try to understand the customer and talk with the customer on the customer's level. So I think like relationship building is proving that you understand the customer, because then they will understand who you are, and then maybe they will listen to what you have to say. But if you're just rushing in and screaming your offers at them, would they listen? I'm not sure. I mean, if you enter this room and you're like, this is me, I'm good at that, that, and that, I would shut off, right? So yeah, that's how you build a relationship. Be true to the customer and don't be brand to the customer.
Looking at consumers and our customers, it all starts with authentic communication. So we need to implement and maintain this authentic communication with our consumers for success of our business. Then it comes to the second stage, our managing our logistics. So we deliver according to promise. And definitely that's also by using data and machine learning, a laser targeted communication strategy that would enable our marketing campaign.
This is obviously done with personalization because you have to know your customer, and if your customer get recommendations which are fitting to their needs, they will be more likely open to adapt and to engage with you as a brand or as a retailer. Then another trend or another thing is that you have to care for the privacy of the data, because the customers needs to trust you. And this is also a big challenge in the next years, how to make sure that your customer data is also protected in the most highly secure way.
Listen to the customer and don't follow each trend. There is no magic behind it. You need to develop a really good and deep understanding what it's all about. And I can tell you a little story about that. When I was starting at Thomann, I was visiting one of our departments for violence, and there was an old lady. She was around 60 and 50 years of experience. So she was very self-confident, very outspoken. And on the other hand, there was one of our sales representatives. He was rather shy. And at the very end, they came to the point, there's no way that she wants to buy these instruments because you need to create the right tone. And then my colleague took the instrument, and by the moment he picked the instruments, two things happened. Charisma was boosting from 0 to 200. And then he was playing a piece, and not any kind of piece. He was playing Concerto 61. This is actually from Beethoven, one of the most complicated things you can play on a violin. And then there was no question anymore. Of course you can play with this kind of instrument, this kind of tone. And the customer was super happy and super amazed by this experience, giving some insights. And this is a level, if you understand what you are selling, that's crucial. Understand what you sell. And in order to understand it really well, in our case, you have to be a musician. Otherwise, it's just this generic sales talk, like business school stuff. This goes wrong. Just understand what is really important for the customer, and then you will build a strong relationship. And in our case, because this topic is very important for me, it's really about, we are not selling instruments, we are selling emotions. For a customer, it's important, he wants to shine on the stage. He is worried about, how is my sound? how can I improve my sound to address a certain actually audience or to bring some emotions across? These are the relevant questions for us. It's not about selecting the products. And this kind of knowledge is important. You need to develop it in each industry. I often see that these fundamentals are forgotten and people have the tendency to focus on trends or whatever.
I would again say honesty first, right? Do business with full honesty. And always focus about value creation. Don't offer something like quick delivery, juice delivery, laundry delivery. These are old school thought that might not work, right? So customer is looking for services which would add value. For example, if you're building a fintech company as a part of e-commerce, right? It's important that you don't think about extracting money from customer, but rather empowering them to how to save their money more, right? Once they start saving money, they would not hesitate to give you money back as a part of your profit. So always think about creating that value for customer, right? Building that trust, that community, that would really, help you in building the long-term customer service.
Customer service and a great customer happiness is a really important aspect. In e-commerce as well, not everything will be perfect. Specifically as you're not always, like, for example, having the full value chain in your hands, like logistics or something. So you really have to ensure that you are able to provide the customers the best possible experience despite something is not working well. So this should be like a huge focus of increasing the customer happiness, because customers are only referring you to their friends and family or coming back if they had a good experience. So I think really strongly focusing on also turning customers which have a negative feeling, maybe again back to positive customers and ambassadors. I think this is a huge focus and will be a baseline for success.
If there were 3 solid things that we could do to build those customer relationships, one would be, and I keep going back to this, one would be to create the right payment portals for them, to be able to pay the way that they want to pay, because payment is a friction point where we see a lot of abandoned carts and a lot of people dropping out because they didn't find what their payment procedure of their choice. So that is a very good, and in fact I think 40% of the customers, they leave or they don't shop somewhere because that place doesn't offer them their payment portal of their choice. So focusing on payments. Second would be, I see micro-influencers becoming way more important than celebrities. And micro-influencers are taking exploratory shopping to the next level. They are inviting you to go shopping with them. They have a list of their shopping lists and then recommendations, and people trust them more. So while big brand celebrities have a lot of breadth, micro-influencers have a lot of depth, and this is where conversion is happening more and more. So this is a really good way to create loyalty, because it's deep personalization in a way that we understand who you like and we are working with them. And I think the third one would be deep personalization. Because thanks to the power of AI, and the term that we are going to be using a lot in the future for this is hyper-personalization. Hyper-personalization will become one of the key drivers for loyalty in customers, in the way that we are seeing that already happening today.
Giving good advice, maybe on one hand on the general side with Gen AI shopping assistants. I think you can be on the good side of retailers' life if you still have people customers can talk to, like on the telephone or things like that. Because if you have more and more AI that is answering your question, some people are not happy with that. And if you give them the choice, if they are not happy with the AI, they can contact you and interact with really people. I think that could be a driver for your business. Maybe on the third, I think the whole social commerce thing is in future, it's very important.
So I think it's really essential to listen to your customers, to really be transparent in your messaging and way in communicating. And it's also very important to include your customers. You can, for example, also include them in your messaging. You can even include them in your ads and really make it all around them.
Strong customer relationships are very important for us. And we have loyalty programs so that we make a first-time ordering customer to a recurring customer and then loyalist.